The courtroom buzzed with tension as Jennifer Lawrence adjusted the microphone, her hands trembling slightly under the weight of what she was about to say. The air felt heavy, like a storm was about to break. Reporters leaned forward, cameras zoomed in, and Diddy's legal team exchanged uneasy glances. This wasn't just another celebrity testimony. It was a moment that could change everything. For years, Jennifer had been seen as Hollywood's fearless A-lister, brilliant, bold, and always honest. But now, she sat in front of the world, not as an actress, but as a woman who finally understood the truth she had ignored for far too long. She looked directly at the jury, then out into the gallery where people watched in silence, waiting for her to speak. "I'm not here to protect anyone anymore," she began, voice low but steady. "I'm here to tell the truth, even if it hurts, especially if it hurts." Her words carried weight, and the room knew. This wasn't just about Diddy. It was about complicity, silence, and the dark secrets buried beneath Hollywood's glittering surface. Jennifer took a deep breath before continuing, her eyes scanning the room as if searching for someone who might understand. "I met Sean through a mutual friend in the early 2000s, she said, referring to Diddy by his first name, as if trying to humanize the man behind the legend. He was charismatic, powerful, and knew how to make you feel like you were the most important person in the room." She paused, choosing her words carefully. But that charm came with a price. The prosecutor nodded, urging her to continue. "There were parties," Jennifer admitted, her voice quieter now. "Private ones, exclusive ones. At first, they felt exciting, like being part of something bigger than yourself." She swallowed hard. But over time, things changed. There were unspoken rules. You didn't ask questions, you didn't push back. And if you did, well, let's just say, people found ways to remind you why you should stay quiet. She glanced toward Diddy, who remained expressionless, arms folded across his chest. "I used to think I was lucky to be part of that world," Jennifer continued. "Now, I know I was just another piece on the board." Lawrence's testimony shifted gears as she described the infamous inner circle formed around Diddy, a group that included some of the biggest names in entertainment. "We called it networking," she admitted, voice laced with regret. In hindsight, it was more like control. She detailed how Diddy orchestrated events with precision. Private jets, secret locations, all-night benders in mansions without clocks or windows. "You weren't just attending, you were being curated," she said. "Everything had a purpose. Every guest had a role." She hesitated before revealing one of the first red flags she noticed. "There were entire rooms at those parties where only certain people were allowed in," she said. "You had to be approved." When asked who decided approval, Jennifer looked down. "Diddy," she whispered, "and the people who worked for him." She recalled one specific night in 2005 when she attended a private event hosted by Diddy. "I thought it was just another theme party," she said. "I brought a date. Within 30 minutes, I regretted coming." She didn't describe everything she saw, but she did say this. There were hidden cameras, people who looked terrified, rooms you didn't walk into unless someone tapped your shoulder. She turned to the judge. "I signed NDAs that year, multiple times. I thought that was normal. Everyone did it." She looked directly at the jury. "But looking back, I see what they really were. Not contracts. Warnings." The courtroom fell silent as Jennifer described the darker side of Diddy's infamous freak-off parties, events shrouded in secrecy, blindfolds, and hidden agendas. "It wasn't just about entertainment," she said, voice shaking slightly. "It was about control." She detailed how guests were required to hand over their phones upon arrival, and how some were even blindfolded before entering certain areas. They told us it was performance art, she said, but it wasn't. It was something else entirely. She recalled one particular event in 2009 where she was given a document labeled Green Light, a tag indicating she was trusted to access restricted areas. I didn't know what I did to earn that status, she admitted, but I knew what it meant. I could go anywhere. She described how some guests were ushered into separate rooms, never to be seen again that night. There were whispers, she said. Stories passed around like rumors, but no one ever confirmed anything. We laughed them off. We told ourselves we were imagining things. She wiped her eyes slightly, visibly shaken. But I remember walking past a hallway once and hearing a girl scream. I stopped. I looked, and I saw a security guard slam a door shut fast, like he didn't want anyone to see inside. She looked up. I didn't ask what was going on. I walked away. Her voice cracked. That's what haunts me the most. I could have done something. I didn't. And I'll carry that for the rest of my life. Jennifer's testimony took a chilling turn as she described the financial and business ties that linked her to Diddy beyond just friendship. This wasn't just about parties, she said. It was about money, influence, power. She revealed that many of her early investments overlapped with Diddy's network. Branding firms disguised as clubs, investment groups posing as lifestyle blogs. It was marketing, surveillance, and recruitment all rolled into one, she said. She described how shell companies were used to hide funding sources and how certain deals suddenly collapsed after she tried to distance herself from Diddy. I started pulling back in 2014, she said. Told Diddy I was done, that it wasn't for me anymore. She looked directly at the jury. He said, "You don't quit. You're in or you're out forever." A few days later, 3 of her investment deals mysteriously fell through. I got a call from a mutual friend, she continued. He said, "You made someone nervous." Jennifer wiped her brow. That's when I realized I wasn't just stepping away from a party. I was stepping away from a system. And systems don't let you leave quietly. Lawrence's voice grew steadier as she described the fallout from distancing herself from Diddy's world. After I pulled back in 2014, she said, things started changing for me. Projects I was attached to vanished overnight. PR deals fell through. Executives stopped returning my calls. She turned to the jury. It felt like I was being slowly erased. She described a particularly disturbing encounter in 2017 when she ran into Diddy at a charity gala. He hugged me, told me I'd been missing out, Jennifer recalled. Then he said, "You should be careful about what you don't remember." That line stuck with her. Shortly after, she received a mysterious USB drive at her office, an anonymous gift containing footage from a 2012 party. It wasn't incriminating, she admitted, but it was enough to remind me that my past was still watching me. She explained how fear dictated her choices from that point on. He didn't speak publicly, didn't confront anyone, just tried to move forward quietly. Every time I pulled away, something would come up, she said. A tabloid leak, a hacked email, a threatened lawsuit. She paused, voice breaking. I was scared, not just for my career, but for my family. Diddy didn't need to raise his voice. All he had to do was stop returning your calls. And that was enough to destroy someone. Lawrence's final moments on the stand were filled with raw honesty, as she reflected on why she finally chose to speak out. I got tired of erasing myself, she said, because the longer I stayed quiet, the more I became one of them. She admitted that, by 2021, She had begun severing ties with Diddy's associates, closing dormant businesses, and deleting old photos from cloud storage. But the deeper I tried to go, the more people questioned my silence, she said. You ever try to delete a part of your life? Someone always has a copy. She described a chilling message sent to her in 2020. A text reading, "You're lucky you're still breathing." She paused, voice breaking. Fear dictated my decisions for years. Not just mine, everyone's. She turned to the judge. Your Honor, if there's anything this court needs from me, emails, records, names, I won't fight it. I've done enough fighting for the wrong people. A hush settled over the courtroom. Even Diddy didn't flinch. Because at that moment, it wasn't about celebrities or moguls. It was about the echoes of what they'd all tried to bury. Outside, the world was watching. Whether you believed Jennifer was a hero trying to atone or just another guilty woman with a polished smile, one thing was clear. The curtain had finally been pulled back on the myths of fame. And what stood behind it was far uglier than anyone wanted to admit.